For decades, the ultimate promise of the modern American aviation industry was total connectivity. No matter if you lived in a massive metropolis like New York or a mid-size hub like Toledo, Ohio, a regional feeder flight could get you onto the global aviation grid. But right now, behind the closed doors of airline headquarters, that promise is being quietly dismantled. United Airlines has initiated a radical, aggressive grounding of its own regional network. They are systematically cutting short-haul routes and leaving dozens of mid-size American cities completely stranded from the global sky. This unprecedented route extraction is the logical outcome of a crushing, multi-year supply chain disaster. United Airlines is facing severe capacity constraints generated entirely by Boeing's ongoing production delays, factory caps, and regulatory certification bottlenecks. United's entire 10-year growth strategy relied on receiving a steady stream of next-generation Boeing 737 MAX 9 and MAX 10 single-aisle aircraft to scale its domestic network. With those deliveries running years behind schedule, United has been forced into a desperate, high-stakes recalculation of its entire fleet infrastructure. Compounding this manufacturing shortfall is an unprecedented structural labor crisis: the worsening attrition of commercial captains. Major legacy carriers are bleeding pilots at an unsustainable rate due to mandatory retirements and expanding flight networks. To keep their massive mainline aircraft flying, major operators are aggressively poaching pilots directly from their own regional subsidiaries like Commuter and Mesa Airlines. This predatory labor pipeline has starved regional carriers of the exact captain pools required to legally operate their 50 to 70-seat regional jets, leaving whole fleets grounded on the tarmac. Today, we are opening the operational spreadsheets to expose the hidden math behind the collapse of America's regional air grid. How does the unit revenue of a single wide-body aircraft completely justify sacrificing 30 short-haul domestic routes? How is the critical structural metric of revenue per available seat mile forcing airlines to abandon small-town America? And what happens to the macroeconomic map of the United States when mid-sized cities are permanently cut off from the global transit economy? To understand why an airline would willingly shut down routes it spent decades building, we have to analyze the brutal, unyielding math of pilot utilization. In aviation regulations, whether you fly a tiny 50-seat regional Embraer 145 or a massive 300-seat Boeing 777 widebody, the cockpit requires the exact same human labor baseline: 2 fully certified pilots. When a major legacy carrier faces an extreme pilot deficit, every flight crew becomes a high-value asset that must be deployed to capture the absolute maximum possible revenue. This introduces the concept of pilot arbitrage. If an operator assigns 2 pilots to a small regional jet, those crew members can only generate revenue from 50 passengers flying a short 300-mile domestic route. But if the airline pulls those exact same 2 pilots up to the mainline fleet and puts them inside a wide-body aircraft, that identical crew can generate massive, high-margin revenue from 300 premium international passengers flying thousands of miles. In a world of extreme labor scarcity, flying regional short hauls represents an immense waste of a highly limited asset. Mainline consolidation becomes an economic mandate. The direct macroeconomic casualty of this pilot arbitrage strategy is the small-town airport. For decades, major network airlines operated on a classic hub-and-spoke model. Small regional flights gathered passengers from secondary and tertiary markets and fed them directly into central mega hubs like Chicago O'Hare, Denver, or Houston. This feeder loop allowed legacy carriers to fill their massive international widebody flights. But as aircraft delivery shortages freeze mainline fleet expansion, operators no longer have the capacity or the incentives to sustain these low-yield regional feeder lines. The resulting route cancellations have triggered an economic crisis for small-town America. Over the past few years, major carriers have completely cut service to dozens of regional airport nodes. When a mid-sized city loses its direct link to a global hub, its local economy faces severe structural isolation. Corporate entities refuse to construct corporate offices or manufacturing facilities in cities without commercial air service. Regional corporate travel costs surge, and local communities are effectively severed from the global supply chain. The regional air grid is collapsing, and the economic divide between megahubs and rural hubs is wider than ever before. By grounding their regional subfleets and consolidating their limited resources onto larger, mainline, single-aisle and wide-body aircraft, major carriers are successfully engineering a massive surge in corporate profitability. This strategy allows them to maximize a highly lucrative financial metric, RASM, or revenue per available seat mile. Larger mainline jets like the Airbus A321neo or the Boeing 737 MAX 9 feature premium cabin configurations that small regional jets can never accommodate. Mainline configurations allow airlines to deploy high-margin layout upgrades like extra legroom tiers, premium international business suites, and assigned seating fee structures. By forcing travelers from secondary markets to drive hours to a primary mega-hub to catch a larger mainline flight, major operators completely shed the expensive operating overhead of running unprofitable short-haul regional flights. Instead, they capture immense, high-margin ancillary revenue from a captive audience on the mainline network. The strategy is no longer about connecting the map. It is about maximizing the yield per ticket. The corporate verdict is clear. United Airlines' aggressive cutback of its regional network is not a temporary operational fix. It is a permanent structural realignment of the American sky. Faced with severe manufacturing bottlenecks from Boeing and an artificial ceiling on pilot labor, major operators have abandoned the post-deregulation dream of universal regional connectivity. By shifting assets away from low-yield regional routes and doubling down on massive, premium-heavy mainline corridors, the commercial aviation sector is maximizing profitability at the direct cost of regional accessibility. For small-town America, the message from the airline boardrooms is loud and clear. If you want to access the global economy, you're going to have to drive to a primary hub. The future of flight belongs exclusively to the megacities, and the regional grid is never coming back.